Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of this kind of introduction to Revit. And I'd like to start off with this particular slide. So just a little recap. Just remember all the wall parameters. You have to identify the height. So you have to identify the height, which is the bottom is right here, base constraint. And then you have to identify how tall you want that wall to be. So right now on the screen it says unconnected, which means that you have to put in a value like 20 feet. But if you put level 2, then the bottom of the wall will be in level 1 and the top of the wall will be connected to level 2. I know that we talked about core versus finish, center line. We didn't talk about chain, offset, or join status. And what that simply means is that when you chain it, when you click from point A to point B, and then when you continue to click, the walls are is a continuous chain. So you could also choose it so that when you click and click, it'll go off of the command, and then you can click somewhere else, and then it'll make a wall somewhere else. But for the most part, I would tell you to keep chain on because it's really convenient. And that chain option is somewhere like over here, I believe. The screen is super small, but you can see it. Offset is, where is this offset? Offset is right here. And offset simply means is if I put in a value of, let's say, 5 feet, it means that if I click from here to here, the wall's going to be 5 feet away from where I clicked, right? Sometimes it's really helpful because let's say you have a wall here and you want another wall here 7 feet away. Then you just type in 7 feet on the offset and you click here and you click here, and then you'll get a wall that's 7 feet away. And so that's how you use that offset command. And then the join status, which is right here. And all of these options could be toggled at any point. Join status is when you have a wall and another wall that comes close by, it'll automatically heal itself. Alright, so again, for the most part, you want that to be on. There are cases also where you want that to be off. But I just wanted to kind of go through some of the more specific parameters for the wall before we start the next demo. So let's get into kind of fixing some of the dimensions. So let's go to level 1. As a matter of fact, rather than call it level 1, let's just call it first floor. So just do a slow click on that and type first floor level. Okay? And then, yeah, go ahead and change it. So what that means is that when I go to elevation, it's going to automatically rename it first floor instead of level 1 or level 2. And let's just call this level 2. I'm going to say TOC for top of ceiling, all right, because this is a single level floor. So then it changes the name here to top TOC or top of ceiling. So let's go to the first floor view and let's turn on our little floor plan. And I think this will be a great way to, and I'm going to unpin. I think it'll be a great way to introduce you to like dimension lines and things like that. So what I'd like you guys to do is kind of read off these dimensions and try to adjust these walls according to this dimension because we may be slightly off. So for instance, this wall from here to here should be 18 foot 3 inches. So the dimension tool you'll find right up here, or you can go to annotate and then all these dimension tools, but you have a shortcut key right here. And you want to use the thing called align dimensions, by the way. I frankly don't know why they have this thing here, linear dimensions. I never use it. There's always an align dimension. So just FYI. So you want to click that. And then you see how it wants to pick the center line of the wall? And right now, these are dimensioned to what we call face of stud or face of the wall or face of core. However way you guys want to use that vocabulary. So again, face of core, face of stud, or face of wall, right? Same thing. So instead of Revit by default trying to pick the center line, which is the option right here, I'm going to say find faces of core. So now it's picks that, and it's actually 18'3". So we did a pretty good job of tracing. I'm going to also click from here to here, and that's actually measuring 5'10.5", and it should measure 5'10". So quite simply, I'm going to pick this wall, and then this dimension highlights. I'm going to click on that and type 5 space 10, and now that's at 5'10". So I'm thinking that all of this string is good, exception of the windows. But again, the windows, guys, I'm going to let you do whatever you guys want to do. So I'm going to just kind of pop in 2 windows here instead of like the 3 or 4 windows that I have here. Let's continue on with the dimensions. I will go from here, and it seems like it's one edge into the outside edge. So I'll go from here to here, and then to the outside. And then I would just like you guys to use these dimension lines to just kind of make it equal to the drawings as much as possible. So I'll pick that, make that 14. That one should be 2'10". And there you go. Oh, and then this measuring 15'2". Oh yeah, so I'm good. So, so that's kind of your introduction to kind of dimension lines and using dimensions and actually moving the walls. And the amazing thing about Revit is that when you move these walls, the dimension changes, right? It's all live data, active and live data. I am not going to do all the stuff, but you guys go ahead and fix, the wall location so that you guys get it pretty close to what we have here. Again, it doesn't have to be accurate. I'm just kind of slowly introducing you guys to little tools as we kind of try to finish out this project. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that for a sec. Let's go ahead and load like beds and like a toilet and a bathtub to your Revit model or your Revit family or your Revit project. Again, same vocabulary, guys. So let's start off with putting in a bed, because I think this is going to be a bedroom. I just turned off the thing, but I'm pretty sure that was a bedroom. So what you want to do in this case is that you want to load in a kind of a furniture family. And so instead of trying to click walls or doors or whatever, you want to click component. And then you're going to load, well, you're going to see what furniture it came with, and it didn't really come with the bed that I wanted. So component, load family, and this is looking at windows. So I want to come back here and let's go to furniture, beds. So let's just get this bed box. And I don't know what the difference with the bed standard. In our office, again, we have our own custom bed. So I bring it in here, and there it is. So before I place it, if you push the space button, that actually rotates your object. And usually this will have, and there you go. It has 3 different types of bed embedded in this bed box family, bed family. So I can say I want a queen size. And they actually don't have a king size, so whatever. We're going to just use that as it is. Let's actually bring in a plumbing fixture family, like a toilet and a bathtub. So there, I'm going to hit component again. So we're going to bring in a component of my choice. Load family. Plumbing. Architectural, fixtures, bathtub, and I'm going to pick a freestanding, nope, we're going to pick rectangular 3D. Some of these things are only 2D, meaning they're just drawing. We don't want that. We would like to get a 3D model if at all possible. So we're going to open that up, and now it's loaded. Now these are what I call intelligent family, meaning it knows that the tub is supposed to be near a wall. So you'll see that you can't place it until you get near a wall. Then it kind of places it on the wall. So it's fairly intelligent, and of course it's 5 feet wide. So I'm going to just go ahead and, I just screw that up. There it is. And I'm going to move it so that it fits nicely in my 5-foot wall spacing. If I zoom in closer, there you go. So now I have a bathtub in there. Let's go ahead and go to component again. We're going to load a toilet. So I'm going to move up here. Water closets. A toilet. And then again, you put the space bar to rotate. So we're going to put a toilet. So this is a classic bath configuration for a bathroom. You know, you got the tub or shower, toilet, and your vanity. And so now we're going to load a vanity. So component, we're going to go to load. In this case, I think I'm going to go to casework, countertop, and let's go to countertop with sink. Oh, but that's really for kitchens. Give me a sec. Alright guys, I came into the plumbing fixtures and there were sinks, and they only give you the sink but they don't give you the countertop, so I am not going to do that in this case. Shoot, again, I have all these custom families in our studio. I'm going to try to just figure it out from the basics. So we'll go to casework, and what you want is really just a countertop, or maybe go to base cabinet. Oh, they do have one. So here's a no, that's not what we want. Please feel free to explore, by the way, as you guys are doing these things. But I'm just going to put a countertop here, just a regular countertop. I'm going to open that up, and again, this is the back of the counter, so I'm going to push space bar and place the counter right at the corner right there. Oop, I just shifted. And then reduce the counter to this width here, and then on top of here should go a sink, right? Don't want to get too technical here, but this countertop at 24 inches is kind of deep for a vanity. So we're going to come to edit type, and there's a 24-inch depth, so I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call this 22-inch depth. And I'm going to change the depth to 22 inches. So now I have two types of countertops, 24-inch depth, which that changes, and I want a 22-inch depth. So now if I come in here, because I clicked 22 inches, it's showing me a 22-inch depth. And so this is kind of the vanity that I want. If you guys want, you guys can pop the sink in here, but for now, I don't mind even if you guys just drew a circle or something like that. But you know what? Let's pop in the sink. Let's just do it. Come in here. We're going to load family. Plumbing, architectural, fixtures, sinks. We'll get one of these square vanities and pop it in. So of course the sink you can move anywhere along the countertop, and there you go. So obviously we're trying to play with only the components that comes with Revit, but there are many resources that you can use. You can just Google, you know, like a door Revit family or whatever, and you'll see a ton of different guys that are giving you guys free families. But I also want to remind you guys, not all free components are created equal. I mean, there's some really bad garbage families out there, so I don't want you to just go and download and get download happy and you know get everything, because some of them are just really poorly made. But personally, I use these three websites a lot. BIMobjects.com. These guys are all, you know, sponsored by actual manufacturers. And then there's a market.bimsmith and modlar.com. There's plenty more, but these are the three that I would definitely recommend initially. And then obviously as you get more into Revit and looking at more families, you'll be able to find other sources for your families. All right. So let's get into now floors and ceilings so that we can round up our model here. Let's just take a quick preview on the 3D view here. So you'll see that I have no floors here, meaning I can see right through the bottom of my house. So we definitely want to put in a floor, and we definitely want to put in a ceiling. So let's go to the first floor again, and let's just go to Revit, Architecture, Floor. And for now, we'll just use like a 4-inch concrete floor, right? So what you want to do is you want to pick a 4-inch floor, which they do not have. So I'm going to just use a generic, and I'm going to go to Edit Type, Duplicate, and I'm just going to say 4 inches. And so when I pick this, we want Revit to use a 4-inch thick model. So if you go to the structure here and go to Edit, you're going to say my core structure is going to be 4 inches. And that's it. And now you have a 4-inch floor. So a couple of things. I could actually just draw a floor like that and then lock them. And this is interesting because once you lock them, I'll do it in 3D. You can see here's my floor, right? But what's really cool is that if I move this wall, the floor moves with it too because it's locked to that wall. Let me undo the floor for now. Yep. Another way to create the floor is to use the wall tool. So that means you're doing the locking and creating at the same time, basically. So it's saying, if I pick that wall, it says now it's attached to that wall. I could actually push the floor to the outside or to the inside, which way ever you prefer. And then, so now Revit already knows this floor is connected to the walls that I'm selecting. And of course, I got to edit this because you can't have overlapping lines. Oop, I used the keyboard, but this is what you want to use, which is trim or fillet if you're an AutoCAD user coming from the AutoCAD world. You click that and you click on the two pieces you want to keep. And now you have your floor. So you say OK, and then now we have a Revit floor that is again connected to the wall. So what happens is, because I created that floor using the wall command, if I move this wall, the floor moves along with it. So yeah, I'm going to just kind of do that. And you can see my floor moves with it. So incredibly cool, incredibly powerful command. So here's the floor. And let's put a ceiling. Now in Revit, you do need a ceiling eventually. But from a construction aspect, the ceiling and the floor could be of the same type of construction. If I have a 2-story house, my roof would, in theory, be up here, and then my walls will go up, and then I'll have another floor here, correct? And then my ceiling would be here. But again, without me getting really, really deep into it, I would actually put another floor up here, which represents kind of like structure, and then I'll put a ceiling skin right underneath it. So I'll explain that to you guys later. So because of this kind of logic, I'm actually going to put a floor to act as my quote-unquote ceiling. And again, this is just my crazy technique. It's not something that, like is written in stone. But I'm going to use a floor as my ceiling. And then they do have a ceiling skin material that I can place underneath so that Revit knows that it is a ceiling. All right, so that's what we're going to do in this particular example. So again, I'm going to go to floor. And in this case, I'm going to use a 12-inch floor because usually the ceiling is made up of 2x6s or 2x8s. So I'm just going to assume that they're made out of 2x10 plus some extra structure. So just generically, I'm going to use a 12-inch thick mass, if you will. And then I'm going to say from the first floor, offset it 8 feet. Because it's going to be 8 feet in the air. And again, I'm going to use the same walls. You could also use this tool. It's called the pick line tool, meaning you can just pick a line and it'll recognize that as something that it's going to use as a tracer. And then trim, and I'm good to go there. Oop. Trim. Trim. Okay. So now if I look at that, I have a floor and it's kind of sandwiched in there. Let's take a look at. So what they did was they put the top of my ceiling at 8 feet, and I actually want that to be at 9 feet. Because I want the bottom of my floor to be at 8 feet for my ceiling height to be at 8 feet. Oh, this one got changed to 12-inch. And I guess I didn't save. I didn't save the 4-inch floor. Oh, all right. So I'm going to go to duplicate. Generic 4 inches. I must have not hit OK or something when I created that. OK. Okay. So there you go. So I have my 4-inch floor that represents concrete, if you will. I have my 12-inch floor or ceiling, whatever you guys want to call that. And that's 12 inches. And my model's almost closed up. And the next time I see you guys, we will work on the roof and the whole bit. Okay?